Sites. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in to First Things First with the Queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it going, stirring the pot, doing that thing we do. The way the show goes, the first hour we look to the left coast, the Pacific side of town. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic or an interesting person. Today, it's both. Queen Afua will be joining us to try to get us right for this 2024 cycle in terms of nutrition. She is the creator of the concept called the Healing Kitchen. She's a well-being rock star. So if you haven't met her, you haven't heard from her, you definitely want to stay with me for that. Right now, though, entering the conversation as my partner in politics this morning, one of my favorite folks to talk to on the radio. She is a journalist. She's an advocate. She is, I think, will soon be again an elected official, and is a favorite for her writings and really breaking a lot of stories that that other folks copy. But at least when I copy her stories, like I tell you, that's what I'm doing, as broken by unapologetically black Miss Jasmyne Cannick. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
Good morning. I sometimes joke that you're like the the assignment desk for certain sectors of our news our news infrastructure, because folks like to see what you're writing about and then follow suit.
Yeah, they do. Like you said, at least when you do it, you give me credit. Some of them don't, but it's all good. It doesn't stop me from talking about what I want to talk about.
Absolutely. Now tell me about where you are with your campaign, and I guess I'll officially put on notice if y'all want equal time, you reach out. We'll give it to you. But where are you on your campaign?
You know what? I'm doing really good. For folks who don't know, I'm running for re-election to the LA County Democratic Party as a delegate. We call the position County Central Committee. That is what you will see on your ballot. If you live in the 55th, Crenshaw, Lamert Park, Windsor Hills, View Park, Ladera, Mid-City, West Adams, Jefferson Park, you'll see me on your ballot. Culver City, too. I find it really interesting right now because do you remember when there was this like aha moment when voters woke up and was like, oh, so that's what the district attorney does.
Yep.
And then there was another aha moment when folks were like, oh, we got to pay attention to the judges. Well, because of the Israel-Hamas war and the infighting amongst Democrats, people are now realizing that, oh, the people who get to vote on the position of the party on any issue are the delegates. And so now people are realizing, oh, that's why, that position is important. And it doesn't matter if it's at the DNC level, the state party, or, the Los Angeles County Democratic Party. Only the delegates get to vote on what the position on any issue is going to be for the Democratic Party. So folks who want, the Democrats to support the Palestinians, and then you have folks who want Democrats to support Israel. Well, either way it goes, no one gets to vote on that but the delegates. Like, you don't get a say in that.
So does that mean more people are running now?
I think so. I heard from so many people during the filing period who reached out to me and said, thank you so much. I was able to use your website to learn how to run, and because I'm not a hater. Seven people from LA's, I forgot how many assembly districts we have, but anyway, 7 people from each assembly district in LA County are going to be elected, the top 7 people. So I encouraged and showed other people how to run too. And I heard from a lot of folks all the way from the Valley out to Carson that have filed to run in their assembly districts and for the first time will be on the ballot.
Wow. Well, that's great. I mean, that's an immediate impact. Hopefully those are smart people. Hopefully they're Black people. Look, I haven't talked about this on the air yet, Jasmyne Cannick, and sadly I found out about it from your Instagram that the former vice chair of the LA County Central Committee, our friend Bobby Jean Anderson, made her transition. She was one of the very first guests I had on this show. She was just a really encouraging, kind soul. And as far as what you're saying about being involved, from delegate to central committee to she did it all, right?
She did do it all. And I'm so happy that you mentioned, because I was going to bring her up, and I'm so happy that you did. Yeah, so Miss Bobby Jean made her transition, and, she was a mentor to me. She took me under her wing when I was younger, and she didn't know anything about me. And she taught me a lot, and I got to see her in action as well. Like, so for folks who don't know, yes, she was the vice chair of the LA County Democratic Party, but she was also a 40-year retiree of the LA County court system. She first got involved in politics and some folks will remember this, when there was an expansion of the 110 freeway, and the homeowners in South LA were being affected by Caltrans because they weren't giving them fair market price for their housing. And, I was just a teenager back then, but I learned about this later. It was Miss Bobby Jean, with the help of then Assembly Member Maxine Waters, that got those 150 homeowners their fair market value for their homes. And from there, she just kept going. She was a member of the Black Women's Forum. She chaired the Criminal Justice Task Force. She was appointed by Mayor Tom Bradley to the LAPD Commission in 1993 and reappointed by Mayor Richard Riordan. I mean, she just had an incredible legacy of community service. And for folks who knew her, they also knew that her biggest passion, aside from the Democratic Party, was domestic violence victims. And she, so she was on the board of the Genesee Center and did a lot of work for them.
Yeah. Well, I think the way you put it is really good, that it was a life of service. Because when, you think of someone like Bobby Jean Anderson, people with that much clout and that much knowledge about the party, sometimes they're snobby, they're more elitist. But Bobby Jean, to me, I mean, this is my impression of her, is that if you had any interest in becoming active and making a difference in the party or the community, she was going to try to help you. She was going to try to show you the ropes. She would do anything she could to be supportive. And that's just so refreshing and so important. And she helped me a lot, too, even though, many times we didn't agree on every issue because she was a bit more moderate, maybe a lot more moderate than I am. But that never stopped her. It was like, well, are you doing the work? Well, then I want to help you. And I just love that about Bobby Jean.
Yes, she's going to definitely be missed. A lot of us younger folks who are involved in politics owe her a debt of gratitude. We definitely, are standing on her shoulders. I think she leaves behind an incredible legacy of young women like myself and you and other folks who were able to learn from her and were able to, continue the tradition of getting more Black women involved in politics because, there aren't a lot of Black people in the Democratic Party. There are a lot of Black people registered as Democrats, but there are not a lot of Black people in the Democratic Party elected as delegates.
Making any kind of decisions is really what you're saying.
Exactly. And so, she was a great leader in that way. She's definitely going to be missed. And, our whole entire, LA political community, Black political community was so sad when that news came out. But one thing I will say is that before she passed away, she was giving her flowers. And she was giving her flowers while she was still here with us and able to smell and enjoy them. And I really appreciate that. She got to know exactly how much we appreciated her and how far her impact had gone in our community.
It's a great point. And actually, I know that Congresswoman Maxine Waters and others are putting together a fitting tribute for Miss Bobby Jean Anderson. So I will keep you guys posted on that. I, of course, have volunteered to help in any way I can. Miss Bobby Jean Anderson, I'll say, was encouraging me until probably days before she made her transition. I mean, she would text me during and after the shows and let me know about something I missed, but always in a loving way and just, always supportive, saying, hey, you're doing a good job. Don't back down. Keep going. It means the world.
Yeah, she's going to be missed. And it's one of the things, Dominique, I think particularly for our generation, because I know I've talked to elders. My dad even said, well, as you get older, this is what happens. People start to pass away in your life. And it's like, yes, I know, but it's just so sad, to lose such giants, But I'm happy that I was able to spend the time that I was able to spend with her.
Yeah, and you got to feel good running for Central Committee while she's on her journey because I'm sure she was very happy about that. Yeah. We do have a lot to talk about while we have Jasmyne Cannick on the phone. We'll tackle some of these upcoming election issues. I have got a lot of studying to do this weekend, so we'll go full bore and all that stuff next week, but we'll touch on it today. I particularly want to look at the district attorney's race, which is shaping up to be quite crowded, and we've got a lot going on here on the ground in LA County, and the state of California. Jasmyne Cannick and Dominique DiPrima on Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I have a dream.
On Friday, January 12th, as we head into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. annual holiday weekend, KBLA Talk 1580 will announce a historic climate justice campaign aimed at California communities of color. KBLA Talk 1580 is joined in this historic effort by both public and private partners including LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Cal and Dow, the Sierra Club, and many other partners. There's a clear connection between Dr. King's moral conscience on the notion of reverence for all human life and the future of our world house. This year, on the MLK holiday weekend, KBLA assigns itself the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are witnessing in real time. Stay tuned for more details. At KBLA Talk 1580, Climate is King.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Skincare is self-care, and with daily beauty steals of 50% off during Ulta Beauty's Love Your Skin event, I can find everything I need to make loving my skin a daily practice, from brands like Osea, Lancome, and Tula. And I can shop weekly skin and wellness deals of 30% off more must-have brands. Plus, see what's new from brands like Bubble and in select stores, Sol de Janeiro and Ulla Henriksen. Hurry, event ends January 20th. Shop in store, online, or try pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears. Thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, we're back to me and Jasmyne Cannick, and you're always invited in every hour, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So it is election season. It feels very rushed to me because it's March. The election is in March. Those mail-in ballots go out next month in February, which means we pretty much have like a month to figure all this stuff out, right? Well, Jasmine, you there?
I am.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm just saying it feels like a quick turnaround. There are 11 candidates that want to become district attorney. Actually, I think it's 12 if you count Gascon, which you have to since he's the incumbent. That actually, do you think there's peril for DA Gascon in this March 5th primary? I mean, it seems like it probably would go to a runoff, right?
It's definitely going to go to a runoff with that many candidates. I think what this is signaling is that there is a lot of discussion in our community, including the Black community, about the amount of crime that is taking place in Los Angeles and what is being done about it. I think some of it is unfairly being placed on Gascon because you have to remember, just like with the police don't make the laws, they enforce them, right? Law enforcement enforces the law. Gascon didn't necessarily make all of the laws that folks are upset about, us voters, yet we agreed to certain things, and now we're upset about it. We don't like what we're seeing, and we want to change.
Well,
I think
I don't know that everyone's upset about it, but I know what you're saying. I mean, I think there's a lot of hype, too, to be honest with you, if you crunch the real numbers. But no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear this is where crime really is, and this is where the hype is. No one wants to hear that. They just want to freak out about smash and grabs.
That's not what wins elections. And, it's very similar to the news, Dominique. If it bleeds, it leads. And so what works in politics all the time, 100% is fear. Fear will work 100% of the time. And that is what's going on with the district attorney's race. Look, half the people running against Gascon are people from his office.
Right.
Literally people in his office.
But to be fair, those are the same people that sued him the minute he got in to try to stop the progressive policies that voters asked him to implement. A lot of them are members of that district attorneys union, which is conservative and which likes to do business as usual, which is not what the voters asked for.
So, like I said, this is really going to be a referendum on all of these changes and whether or not the majority of LA County voters like the direction that criminal justice reform is going in LA County. You know, look, honestly, you know, folks, sometimes we have to step outside of our bubble, because when we are just around the choir, we have no idea how other people feel about things. And I can tell you that not everybody is on board with what's going on right now.
Well, I think, I mean, I don't think you have to step outside the bubble. I think a lot of people on all sides of the aisle are not okay with what's going on right now. It's just they're very different interpretations about what will fix it, right? And it's, I think, to me, notable, Jasmine, that that DA Gascon also has a pretty formidable challenger on the left, which is Jeff Chemerinsky, the son of Erwin Chemerinsky, who's an assistant U.S. attorney, and who is now endorsed by the controller. The city attorney, I should say, the city attorney for Los Angeles, which is interesting. I mean, I think it's pretty rare for a sitting city attorney to defy a sitting district attorney, right?
Not if they are at polar opposite ends of the political spectrum.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
And I'm assuming that you are talking about our new city attorney.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you
Heidi
know, actually,
Feldstein. Stein Soto, who has endorsed Chemerinsky, but and to your point, she's not exactly a blazing progressive, but
she's not.
But Chemerinsky will appeal to a lot of folks on the left who are not happy with decisions Gascon has made, I would think.
Absolutely, and look, Jeff called me. I've heard from almost every single candidate running for district attorney. They have found my phone number and reached out. And we had like a really good conversation. Like I said, this is going to be tough for Gascon. But it's also, I think if he wins, if he's able to pull it off. And let me tell you something. It was not a done deal for the Democratic Party to just rubber stamp and endorse him this time around. He really had to fight and push for that endorsement in a way that maybe a lot of folks would think he wouldn't have had to do. But folks, you know, need to understand that the Democratic Party in LA County is still mostly run by moderates. So not progressive.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point. The other thing, Jasmine, too, I think is that, you know, some of us are not real happy about the charging of current price, for example. And this feeling like DA Gascon is trying to tack to the right and say, see, look, I'm tough on crime, and doing that by bringing a downright stupid case against a black council member at a time when black electeds have been demonstrably undermined. We saw that in the so-called secret tape, and in a time in which we are demonstrably under attack. It's not a good look.
It is not, and sometimes I wish I could sit down with him, with our DA, and ask him, give me your thinking on this. Like, you know, because oftentimes when this happened to Councilmember Price, we didn't really get a whole lot from the DA just in terms of how he came to his conclusion in terms of his office spring. And it's always interesting to me on what cases, and not just with Gascon, but DAs period, because we saw that with Lacey, right? Lacey didn't want to charge Ed Buck, right? But then the U.S. attorneys, you know, the federal prosecutors did. Like, it's always interesting the discretion that prosecutors use on certain cases and what they choose to go after and not go after. But make no mistake, we are in political season, so every move that a sitting elected official makes is a calculated move. It absolutely is, because they know that all eyes are on them for the next 11 months as they run for office. Eyes will be off of them the minute the election is over until it's time to gear up for re-election. But
unfortunately,
right now, unfortunately, they're being watched. And so I know just from my work, who I work with, what I do, like everything we do is calculated. So, you know, the current price one is really, really hard because like you, Dominique, I do agree with you. It's like, why? First of all, if you went through the paperwork, it's like, well, why didn't you just send them a letter and say, pay this money back?
Right.
And can we define in 2024 or let's say 2023, who a partner is, because, you know, we've changed a lot of rules, you know, on defining who is your domestic partner, whether you're married to them legally or not, all of these different things. We've been over backwards in terms of genders and everything. So that's another thing that sort of bothered me too, is the way that it was like making it seem like he was engaged in a relationship while he was married to someone else and this and it's like, really?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there was no gray area. Everyone knew Dale was his partner, his wife,
yes,
regardless of what the paperwork said. And as I might have been Councilmember Harris Dawson pointed out, it's not like he had two women on his insurance. He had one. He only had one, and that was the one he lived with. So, yeah, those are good points. But back to the DA's race. Have you endorsed? Are you supporting a candidate as of now? No. Mm-hmm.
You know what? To be fair, because I believe in full disclosure, you know, I have spoken to Gascon. He knows how I feel about a lot of things in crime. He did donate to my campaign. He's been very supportive of me. I haven't officially said what I'm doing, but I will soon. But people who know me know, like, I'm not to let them all out of jail. Like I always tell you, Dominique, I'm not to let them all out, and I'm not to lock them all up.
No, honestly, no, I know you aren't, but you're more lock them all up than let them all out. And if,
oh my God, you think so?
I do. In fact, I was surprised that you weren't named as the new co-host for John and Ken. I was really waiting for that announcement.
You know, really, I think me and John could do it.
John and Jasmine. John and Jasmine. It has a nice ring to it.
But no, I'm just a realist about crime, and I don't care. Like, I will talk about it. Like, Dominique, I don't like being in Walgreens and, you know, look, I'm counting my pennies, standing in line, watching people walk out with garbage bags full of items. And I'm like, well, damn it, why did I do that? Why can't I do that?
Well, you could, but you might go to jail. And, you know.
No, I won't. Not anymore. I'll get cited and released.
Maybe.
If they catch me.
But it's you, so, you know, it might be different. We got news, traffic, and sports right now. Then continuing the conversation, we got a lot to talk about.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Massachusetts, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is defending outgoing Harvard President Claudine Gay. Wu says Gay did make mistakes, but it was racial bias that led to her facing unfair criticism over her answers to a congressional committee last month. The mayor believes the intense scrutiny on the African-American educator was influenced by people opposed to diversity and inclusion efforts at colleges and universities. A 13-year-old from Oklahoma is reported to be the first person ever to beat Tetris on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The teen, who goes by the nickname Blue Scooty on social media, posted a video on YouTube showing him appearing to defeat the famous falling block puzzle game by reaching the kill screen. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers won their fourth straight. They went into Phoenix last night and won by 9. 33 points for Paul George, 30 for Kawhi Leonard. James Harden had 22 points and 11 assists. The Clippers are 9 games over 500. They are 13-2 since December 1st. Things are not getting any better for the Lakers. They lose at home to Miami last night by 14. The Lakers have lost 3 in a row and fell below 500 for the first time since November 10th. A rough night for LeBron. He was 6 of 18 from the floor and finished with 12 points. LeBron's son Bronny had a much better night. The USC freshman had 10 points and 3 assists to help the Trojans beat California. Bronny played 18 minutes off the bench. He remains on a minutes restriction until his medical staff gives him the okay to play longer. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
to prescription drug coverage,
and a quarterly over-the-counter allowance,
plus personal equipment,
meal programs,
a gym membership,
and so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
our community,
it's a plus.
It's a plus
for all of us.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket, just like our customer Jaron.
I'm the singer and guitarist in a band, and I use my Cricket phone for everything. It's basically like another band member.
Don't miss a single beat. Switch today and get a free Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Real customer paid for testimonial. Must bring your number to Cricket on up to a $60 a month voice plan depending on device. Select models only while supplies last. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See store for details.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we're talking with Jasmyne, lock 'em up, Cannick. I'm just kidding. Jasmyne Cannick. She is a journalist and an advocate. She's a popular commentator on local cable TV and news programs. She was named Out Magazine's Journalist of the Year, one of Essence Magazine's 25 Women Shaping the World, and one of Los Angeles most fascinating Angelinos by LA Weekly. That said, we're talking about, the district attorney's race. And the one thing I will say is that, this idea that more and more enforcement is going to make crime go down has never been borne out by data, number one. And number two, when you talk about, you being released right away if you stole the trash bags from the drugstore, that's partially because of prison overcrowding, because of over-incarceration. It's not only strictly because of the laws and policies that are now in place.
I mean, look, we changed our bail schedule here in LA County. As you know, there was a lot of hoopla over that. But it needed to be changed, too. There were a lot of things that didn't require folks to go to jail on there, right? And we already know who bail benefits and who it doesn't benefit and what it really was intended for, right? And so, there are a lot of misdemeanor crimes now that are just really cite and release situations. So, I mean, look, it's never been about the data. If we just went on the data, Dominique, we might be having a different conversation, but that's not what moves voters. Voters get moved by commercials that tell them that, they're coming for you and your family if you don't vote for me.
Can we stop being really so naive? Can that happen? I mean, I also think voters get moved by footage, right? Like, so the dramatic smash and grab footage, that guy jumping over the judge's bench yesterday, I think I'm expecting that to be in somebody's commercial, right? This guy who was on trial for violent or being sentenced, I guess, for violent assault, then violently assaults the judge, literally flies over the bench. I mean,
I was like in awe. I was like, oh my goodness, if you would just use those skills on like the track field or something.
Yeah, right. Use your powers for good.
For good.
I mean, he literally flew over that bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
And now he's facing even more charges. The judge, Mary Kay Holthus, was not injured significantly. But I'm like, they got all those cops and bailiffs and you can still jump over that. I don't know. That seems problematic.
I know. It does. But look, I've been in a lot of courtrooms. It's possible. There's really nothing too much separating the defense and the prosecutor's table from the judge on the bench.
Wow. Well, I bet you there will be in her courtroom now. Bailiffs stand over there by the defendant.
Yeah. It took a lot of people to get him off.
Yeah, actually, somebody was, one of the court officials was actually hospitalized. The courtroom marshal had a gash on his head. So, yeah. And I think, that is exactly the kind of thing that sadly does move voters. And you mentioned the this new initiative or a proposed initiative to overturn parts of Proposition 47, and it's supposedly called Make Crime Illegal Again. To me, that is pandering to exactly that, the fear-mongering, which makes us make unwise decisions.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, this isn't the first attempt to repeal parts or if not all of Prop 47. This is one that's going to go through the legislature, meaning it's going to be voted on by, if it ever can make it out of committee, voted by assembly members and then the Senate. And then, if it were to pass, obviously signed by the governor, but probably not. But there's also a push around the legislature because in our state, you can gather enough signatures and get something put on the ballot, right? And so there's another proposed reform that's going around, and they're getting ready to try to get something on the ballot for the voters to actually vote on, right? Because that's the other way you go around the legislature.
Yeah.
Similar to how we did Prop 47, right? Prop 47 was put in by the voters. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the Secretary of State, as I understand it, has said that they can go ahead and start collecting those signatures. So as long as they get more than 500,000 signatures from registered voters, that we can vote on this. And I have a feeling it will be very confusingly marketed, like most of the crime-oriented measures.
It probably will, but they probably will also get their signatures if they're gathering signatures in the Valley and Orange County and more conservative parts of the state, because it's a statewide referendum. I'm sure that they will probably be able to get the signatures that they need. But the focus also, just for listeners to know, is that a lot of people have an issue with the $950 property value threshold for misdemeanors, and they want to see that change. Like, because right now it's at $950, which means you can steal up to $950, and it is considered a misdemeanor. And as you know, a lot of misdemeanors, particularly in LA County, are cite and release. And so that's a big part of it. A lot of it focuses on retail theft. It's just retail theft, and the narrative that has been crafted on both sides of retail theft is just mind-boggling to me. You have the businesses that say they're being robbed blind, and then the other side says, well, the data doesn't support that. Then we have the videos that the news likes to show us of, mobs of people going into stores and taking things. It's so confusing. But I am sure that there is retail theft because I see it myself.
Okay, so. I'm sure there is too, but here's the thing. Those massive corporations, especially like the Walgreens that you were standing in, they're insured for that, number one. Number two, you just saw that the Retail Merchants Association admitted they lied in the data, claiming that this huge percentage of their losses were coming from retail theft, and that's why they had to close down stores, and basically revealed that they were lying and using that as an excuse to close down stores they wanted to close down anyway. And then, in fact, a bigger piece of what they call shrinkage is coming from people within the companies stealing from the company.
Yeah, but you know what? That's minor to me. I don't buy. Look, they did over 100 people looted a small family bakery in Compton recently. Like, they literally took over the street at 3:00 in the morning on Tuesday and destroyed a small business.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, what is going on? You guys really need baked goods? I mean, that was just...
They sold lottery tickets. They stole food. They took money. That's not a Target. That's not a Walmart. That's not a Walgreens. That's a family-owned business. So the smash and grabs and the looting and the retail theft is not just happening at
the
big
Gucci
corporations.
store.
As a matter of
Right.
fact, we see it happening to street vendors all the time. We see it happening at our mom and pop businesses all the time. I remember being on Facebook and seeing the owner of Doolin's talk about, again, this was a little while ago, breaking into their restaurant. Like, he's had multiple break-ins and we love us some Doolin's, right? We love
grand
their food.
reopening is the 11th, by the way.
Yeah, well, woo. But yeah, they're also broken into all the time too. So I just want to say, like, our businesses are being affected too by
When
this.
you say we see, I mean, I know it happens, but I haven't personally seen it. I know it happens. I've heard some business owners complaining about it, but I think what we are talking about when we look at the way that it's being pushed on voters as an urgent issue is the Gucci store, is, those smash and grabs and, city attorney.
What should we do, Dominique? Should we just let them steal it and get away with it and turn the other cheek and say, oh, it's a big corporation, it's not going to hurt them. We should allow stealing?
No, I'm not saying that, although it's not the top priority on my list of things to address. But I'm not saying that, okay, free for all, just come take our stuff. I just don't think it should be used as an excuse to overturn Prop 47 and start, the old law and order, throw the book at black people and Latina people. I think that, as the city attorney and the mayor have said on this show, they need to go up the food chain and see where is that stuff going. Who is organizing this stuff? Who's buying it? If Amazon is allowing the resale, or other online outlets are allowing the resale. I know they recently busted a warehouse in downtown LA that was full of stolen items. To me, that's what you do.
Which is where they were selling them from. They weren't selling them on Amazon. They were literally selling them down the street from police headquarters.
Yeah.
Like, the people who are buying the stolen goods are the people, like, don't come at me with a new Gucci purse talking about $100.
Yeah, to me, that's okay. So if they were selling themselves, maybe. But I do think that, many times, just like with human trafficking, don't get the girl that's selling herself on the street. Get the person that trafficked her and the person that is buying the service.
Get them all. Get everybody. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am not okay with people going into stores willy-nilly, stealing stuff, and then us making excuses saying, we just need jobs.
I'm not making excuses. I'm saying go up the food chain. Just the same thing with, when you talk about undocumented immigrants. You want to put them in jail, and I'm saying jail the corporate boss who's hiring those folks. Make it, untenable.
I agree with that. I actually agree. I agree with that. That you will get no argument from me about. But when it comes to these folks going into stores and doing all this massive stealing, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that if something doesn't change, this is going to become our norm. And I don't want to see it as our norm. We already made the N-word our norm. Are we now going to allow?
Okay, and that's
stealing?
a whole other show for another day because we need to do that show. But yeah, I think it's not happening as much as folks say. I don't think it's our new normal. I think the fear of it is our new normal. But your point is taken. I'm not calling for chaos. That's not what I'm looking for. And these times are really making it challenging for folks not to go just to lock them all up. Jasmyne Cannick, when we come forward, I want to talk about the case of Niani Finlayson, who was shot on December 4th by sheriff's deputies in Lancaster, California. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, LA, save water and put money in your pocket with rebates from LADWP. Start saving with free shower heads and faucet aerators. Then save with every flush when you upgrade to a water-efficient toilet and get a $250 rebate. You can also save on every load of laundry with a high-efficiency clothes washer and get a $500 rebate. That's right, LADWP customers can get $500 rebates on qualifying clothes washers. See all the ways to save at ladwp.com/save.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of this light of ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This light of ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This light of ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
And this case, we need to spend a little bit more time on it. But Jasmyne, I just want to get your take. Niani Finlayson actually called the cops because she said she was experiencing domestic violence at the hands of her boyfriend, wanted him out of the house. Sheriffs come. and end up shooting her in front of her 9-year-old daughter. They said she had a knife. It was a kitchen knife, apparently. And it just baffles my mind. But what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, first, I want to obviously send and share my condolences with her friends and family, right? Because this is and her daughter, right? Of course, this is just so incredibly sad. I think as Black women, we look at something like this and, I'm not a mother, but if I was, could you imagine watching your mother be shot, right? I think the sheriff's department did the right thing in terms of getting that video out as soon as possible, right? That's a step in the right direction. I think that there's going to have to be an extensive investigation. I know there's going to be a lawsuit. I know that there are lots of folks who are calling for justice, and there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. Law enforcement cannot tell us to call them when we need help and have problems and kill us. Like, that seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah.
You call for help, you get killed.
Right. And to me, and I'm not blaming her, but I'm just saying, like, to me, I can't even understand why I would ever call the police after, Takar Smith, after Niani Finlayson, after, case after case, exactly what you're saying. We call for help, we end up dead.
Yeah, so that is terrifying, because it means that when you're in a life or death situation, you literally have to stop and think, am I going to be better off dealing with it on my own than dialing 911?
Yeah. I wouldn't be stopping and thinking. I'm like, I got to call the homies. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, it's horrible. And look, there's going to be a lot of protests. I know that Congresswoman Waters went to Lancaster and is very involved. And there are lots of folks who are, understandably have a lot of questions and are very upset. I mean, look, Lancaster, we only are in Lancaster because we couldn't afford to live here, right? We were pushed out of LA and pushed all the way out to the Antelope Valley. That's why you have a lot of Black folks in Palmdale and Lancaster, because the cost of living was significantly less, but we weren't welcome in the Antelope Valley. And a lot of folks, particularly folks in the movement around criminal justice reform, will tell you that it's like the wild, wild west out there because no one is paying attention because they are so far away from Los Angeles. This is not the first egregious case of someone being killed by the sheriff's department in the Antelope Valley.
I mean, the complaints against the sheriff out there are just numerous. And and it is a real serious problem. Cancel the contract is one organization working out there specifically on that. Cancel the contract of the Antelope Valley. Black Lives Matter LA has named Ty Shelton the deputy who killed Niani, and she's apparently he's also the person that killed Michael Thomas in 2020 out in Lancaster, and reportedly, according to BLMLA, has a whole bunch of complaints against him. And so, of course, cancel the contract, BLMLA and others, the family, are calling for him to be held accountable.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think our sheriff, who just completed his first year in office, is once again going to be in an even hotter seat, right? Mm-hmm. But I will say, look, I am one of those folks that will give credit where credit is due. I don't know that if Sheriff Villanueva was still in office, we would have had that video released.
No,
that
we
the
would.
body cam video would have been released. And so, I mean, that's a step in the right direction, because if you want to restore trust, if you want to promote transparency in your department, that's exactly what you do. Unedited video needs to be released ASAP. We, the taxpayers, are paying for that video to begin with. We are paying for that deputy. We are paying for that camera. We are paying for the service that stores the video. So we have every single right to see it.
Actually, when you put it that way, we're paying for the gun and the bullets that killed Niani. I mean,
we actually are.
Yeah. So they said she had a knife in her hand. But if I call the sheriff and I say, my boyfriend won't get out of my house, he's beating me, he's beating the kid, and I have a kitchen knife in my hand, to me, that shouldn't be that surprising. She's holding the knife on the boyfriend. She's standing near the boyfriend. They shoot her.
I agree.
And then arrest him and let him go. Ugh.
Right. This is how we are seeing. This is part of the problem, is that I oftentimes feel like law enforcement doesn't see us as we're just black. And it doesn't matter if you're the victim or not. Like, you're black. And so you're still going to always be seen as threatening, right? Mm-hmm. And we already know, just as black women, how that goes, right? We have the angry black, angry black woman label that's oftentimes put on us. But, I mean, just common sense would say the woman called for help. She is the victim. You know, and here's the other thing. Why don't deputies, why doesn't law enforcement just shoot to disarm? If that's your thing, if you feel like, okay, the knife is dangerous, why don't you shoot someone in their arm, shoot someone in their leg, shoot to disarm them? Like, that is definitely a possibility. You do not have to shoot to kill them.
I mean, the other thing is there's a 9-year-old child in the room.
They don't care about that. Black is black. Sometimes I feel like our kids don't even matter.
I think you're right. I mean, I know they adultify our children and all that, but here's the thing. That child is now, not only traumatized for life, but will be terrified and probably angry at police for life, and justifiably so.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. I've really been wanting to talk about that case, and now, as you said, the family's moving forward with legal action, and the DA is investigating, so I'm expecting more answers. Got a minute left here, Jasmine. What do you want to do with it?
Mm-hmm. Have a great day, Dominique DiPrima. It is cold outside, Los Angeles family. So, be warm, be good to yourself, be good to others. Don't forget that we vote March 5th. Double check your voter registration to make sure you are registered to the right party. If you are registered to the American Independent Party, you are registered to a party that is right of the Republicans. That is not what you want. You want to be no party preference. You'd be surprised, Dominique, how many people think they're an independent voter because they're registered as an independent. We don't have independent in California in that way. We call it no party preference. So just double check all your stuff. Make sure that you're going to be eligible to vote March 5th, and make sure you vote.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jasmine. And, of course, your website and your social medias.
I'm at Jasmyne, Jasmyne, on pretty much everything. Instagram, Hello Jasmine, voteforjasmine.com, IamJasmine.com are my two websites. I am not hard to find.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us find you this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
And you as well. There's way, way, way too many things to talk about. So let's do it. 800-920-1580. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's Gay. Wu says gay